Chapter 27-24. These 9 people were going to the Ice Soul tribe with Lu Ming to carry out the mission. However, the 9 of them were getting impatient at this moment. Who is our leader? How arrogant of him to make the 9 of us wait here for 2 days. One of the young men said unhappily. That's right. Let's see who is so arrogant. Let's see if he's strong enough to convince us. Another young woman also spoke with an impatient look. Although the others did not say anything, their gloomy faces said it all. They are here. Suddenly, one of the young men looked up at the sky. The others followed suit. 2 figures appeared in the sky. They were Lu Ming and Elder Huaquan. Lu Ming and Huaquan landed on the ground. Elder Huaquan. The young men and women cupped their fists at Huaquan and bowed respectfully. They all knew that although Huaquan was only an outer elder, his true identity was the grand disciple of the sect master, Dragon Jushan. He was highly regarded by the Dragon Boat Mountain. Now that he was an outer elder, it was just a trial. Even many inner elders were polite to Huaquan, so they did not dare to offend him. No need to be so polite. Huaquan waved his hand and said. The 9 young men stood up and glanced at Lu Ming, ignoring Lu Ming. Elder Huaquan, you said you were going to bring our leader here. Where is he? We've been waiting here for 2 days. That's right. Who is so arrogant that he can't even invite Elder Huaquan? Everyone started to talk. They did not think that Lu Ming was the person they were waiting for. Lu Ming had an identity token on him. They could tell that he was an outer disciple. How could an outer disciple be the person they were waiting for? Moreover, he was their leader. They thought that Lu Ming was just a follower of Huaquan. You don't have to wait anymore. He's here. Let me introduce him to you. This is Lu Ming. He will be your leader for this mission. Huaquan pointed at Lu Ming and said. What? The 9 young men and women were stunned. They stared at Lu Ming and then at Huaquan. Him? Elder Huaquan, are you mistaken? He's just an outer disciple. How can he carry out the mission with us? Won't he be a burden to us? Moreover, he's our leader. What a joke. 2 of the young men immediately yelled. Kid, you'd better hand us your leader's token. That's right. 20,000 points was equivalent to 200 million divine gems. It was a huge sum even for an ordinary inner disciple. They felt that Lu Ming was envious of the reward and hence tagged along to earn points. Greedy. Lu Ming sneered in his heart. He glanced at the 9 young men and women and said, I've received news that I'm the leader of this mission and all of you have to listen to my orders. Why? Are you rebelling now? Bullshit. What rebellion? Don't flatter yourself. Who do you think you are? That's right. Hand over your leader's token and get lost. A few of them were enraged and shouted. A cold aura was directed at Lu Ming. Enough. At this moment, Huaquan shouted and silenced the crowd. Huaquan glanced at the 9 young men and women unhappily and said, Let me tell you, this mission was personally assigned by the sect leader. Lu Ming is the leader and the sect leader personally appointed him. If you have any objections, speak to the sect leader directly. The 9 young men looked at each other. How would they dare to speak to the sect leader? Are you doubting the sect leader's judgment? Huaquan asked again. We don't dare. The 9 young men and women said hurriedly. Since you don't dare, then act according to the order. Let me tell you, in this mission, you have to listen to Lu Ming's orders. Do you understand? Huaquan's eyes lit up and he emitted a strong and cold aura. Yes, yes, the 9 young men and women nodded. However, no one knew what they were thinking. All right, let's go. I'll take you to the teleportation formation. Then, we'll go through the teleportation formation to the Ice Spirit tribe. Huaquan said and turned around. The rest of the group followed him. Kongxian School was very far away from the Ice Spirit tribe. They were separated by many galaxies. Even if they took the teleportation formation, it still took them more than a month. Finally, they arrived on a planet. Huaquan did not continue to send them off. This was the territory of the Ice Spirit tribe and there would be people from the Ice Spirit tribe waiting for them. Is this the Ice Spirit tribe? Lu Ming looked at the members of the Ice Spirit tribe curiously. The appearance of the Ice Spirit tribe was not much different from that of the human race. The biggest difference was their hair and pupils. Their hair and pupils were snow white. Their skin was slightly fairer than that of the human race. As they walked, they emitted a cold aura. "Everyone, please follow us." An elder from the Ice Spirit tribe smiled and led Lu Ming and the rest to the main planet of the Ice Spirit tribe, the Ice Spirit planet. After a few days, they arrived at the Ice Spirit planet. The Ice Spirit planet, as its name suggested, was sealed in ice. It was a real ice planet. Everywhere on the planet, the temperature was extremely cold. Most of the buildings in the main city of the Ice Spirit tribe were made of ice that was hundreds of millions of years old. The people from the Ice Soul clan brought Lu Ming and the rest to a hall. This hall was made of ice that had been frozen for hundreds of millions of years. The cold air was oppressive and the temperature was very low. If not for their profound skills, they would have been frozen into popsicles. However, Lu Ming felt very comfortable. He cultivated the ultimate chill divine skill and could control the ultimate chill divine power. As he circulated his divine power, the cold air from the outside constantly flowed into Lu Ming's body. He felt very comfortable. Young heroes, the Ice Spirit tribe has invited the Kongxian school and some other prodigies from the Qin Tian 13 sects for this mission. Some of them have not arrived yet, so you will have to wait for a few days. You can stay here for the next few days, the elder from the Ice Spirit tribe said. There are people from other sects coming with us? Everyone's heart skipped a beat as they revealed curious expressions. They were curious as to what the mission this time was. The elder from the Ice Spirit tribe did not say much. He simply explained a few things and left. After the elder from the Ice Spirit tribe left, Lu Ming strode into a room. He planned to cultivate while waiting. Chapter 27-25. Lu Ming, stop right there. At this moment, a cold shout was heard. Then, a figure flashed and a young man in a purple robe appeared in front of Lu Ming, blocking his way. Immediately after, their figures flashed and the other 8 young men and women surrounded Lu Ming. "You're really in a hurry." The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up slightly. There was a sneer at the corners of his mouth. "Lu Ming, now that Elder Huaquan is not here, no one can protect you. You'd better hand over the captain's flag. You're not qualified to be our captain, do you understand?" The young man in the purple robe said with contempt. "That's right. If you hand over the flag obediently, we might let you pass the mission on account that you're from the same sect. You might even get a huge amount of points. Otherwise, we'll have to kick you out." Another young woman was even more domineering and had an arrogant expression on her face. These people couldn't help but make things difficult for Lu Ming as soon as they arrived at the territory of the Ice Soul clan, demanding that he hand over the captain's flag. "I'm appointed as the captain by the sect leader himself. Are you going to defy the sect leader's order?" Lu Ming said lightly, looking very calm. "Don't use the sect leader's name to pressure us. There's an old saying, when a general is out in the field, he can't obey the orders of the emperor. Moreover, this mission concerns all of us. How can we let an outer disciple like you be the captain and endanger our lives?" "That's right. Moreover, there are people from other sects coming this time. If they know that our Kongxian school's captain is an outer disciple, we'll be laughed at. Why are you talking so much nonsense with him? If he doesn't hand it over, we'll take it ourselves," a few young men said coldly. Some of them were even getting impatient. "It's not impossible for me to hand over the flag." At this moment, Lu Ming's voice was suddenly heard. The others laughed disdainfully. They knew that Lu Ming wouldn't dare to disobey them. "However, I'm curious. If I hand over the flag to you, who will be the captain?" Lu Ming said with a smile. "Of course I'll be the captain. My cultivation base is the highest here." A young man with a long face said proudly. "Bullshit. Your cultivation is the highest. What a joke. Have you asked me?" A tall and sturdy young man immediately roared as a powerful aura erupted from his body. 4th level True God Realm. The burly young man exuded a shocking aura. He was at LV4 True God Realm. Lu Ming's eyes moved, revealing a trace of surprise. No wonder he was an elite of the inner sect. He was less than 10,000 years old and his cultivation had reached level 4 true god realm. With such cultivation, he could be an overlord in the chaotic galaxy. For example, the Yuan Luo Hall's Hall Master and the Walkabout Sect's Patriarch were both at the 4th stage true god realm. However, the battle prowess of the Kongxian School's inner disciples was definitely above the Yuan Luo Hall's Hall Master and the Walkabout Sect's Patriarch. Do you think I'm afraid of you? That long-faced youth also erupted with a shocking aura from his body. He was similarly a 4th-level true god, contending with the tall and sturdy youth. The eyes of the others were filled with dread and solemnity. Don't let this kid drive a wedge between us. He wants to provoke us into fighting. If we want to fight, let's get the command flag first. It won't be too late to do so. At this moment, another young man spoke. The long-faced youth and the tall and sturdy youth withdrew their aura and looked at Lu Ming. That's right. Let's get the command flag first, then we'll fight to determine who's the leader. The long-faced youth said. Kid, your provocation is too low level. It's useless against us. Hurry up and hand over the command flag. Don't waste our time. The purple-robed youth shouted. The others also stared at Lu Ming with unfriendly looks. Looks like you guys are not too stupid. All right, whoever wants the command flag can come and get it. Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He opened his palms and the flag was in his palms. You're overestimating yourself. How dare you fight with us? I'll teach you a lesson first. The purple-robed youth took the initiative to attack. He took a step forward and waved his hand. His 5 fingers stretched out and grabbed at Lu Ming like a cage. Divine power howled. Before the claw reached Lu Ming, the powerful airflow had already crushed Lu Ming. Its power was shocking. The purple-robed youth was in the 2nd-level true god realm. His cultivation is not bad, but his battle strength seems to be average. Lu Ming's heart jumped and he threw a punch out with his bare hands. This kid actually dares to fight back. He's overestimating himself. One move and he'll be kneeling on the ground. The other youths had the same thought in their minds. However, in the next moment, their eyes widened in disbelief. This was because Lu Ming's fist collided with the purple-robed youth's claw. There was a loud explosion and a figure was pushed back. The person who was pushed back was the purple-robed youth. The purple-robed youth staggered back a dozen steps before he could stand firm. You, the purple-robed young man looked at Lu Ming in shock. He simply could not believe it. He was in the 2nd-level true god realm and Lu Ming's aura was only in the 8th-level empty god realm. He was pushed back by a 8th-level empty god realm. How could this be? You want to be the leader with such strength? What a joke. Lu Ming smiled disdainfully. Kid, don't be arrogant. I only used 30% of my strength. The purple-robed youth shouted. He had only used 30% of his strength. He thought that 30% of his strength would be enough to deal with an outer disciple. He did not expect Lu Ming's strength to exceed his expectations. I'm sorry. I only used 10% of my strength. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He had only used 10% of his strength. However, how could the others believe him? Shameless boasting. I'd like to see what you're capable of. The purple-robed youth shouted and a ray of sword chi shot up to the sky. A combat sword appeared in his hand and he executed a divine skill. The sword chi whizzed and swept towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's palm glowed and a long spear appeared. The long spear vibrated and swept towards the purple-robed youth. Boom, boom, boom. After a few explosions, the purple-robed youth's sword chi collapsed and the long spear continued to sweep towards him. His body shook violently and he was sent flying by Lu Ming's spear. He crashed into the wall made of ice and almost broke the wall. Puff! The purple-robed youth spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale and he looked at Lu Ming in shock. He had used all of his strength and executed a divine skill. However, he was not a match for Lu Ming's spear and was injured by Lu Ming's spear. How could Lu Ming be so powerful? It was too terrifying and he could not believe it. A level 8 empty god realm was able to suppress him and this was a huge blow to him. The other 8 youths looked at the scene with their mouths agape. Chapter 27-26. His strength is only SOSO. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. He compared the purple-robed youth to winged demon, Feng Yuandao, and Feng Zi, and realized that the purple-robed youth wasn't a match for winged demon, Feng Yuandao, and the others. This was normal. Winged demon, Feng Yuandao, and the others were ranked in the top 10 of the empty god list. Their combat strength far exceeded those of the same level, and they weren't something that other outer disciples could compare to. After they entered the inner sect, they would definitely become the elite disciples of the inner sect. Their future prospects would definitely be incomparable to those of ordinary disciples. Although the purple-robed youth was considered an elite in the inner sect, he was still a distance away from winged demon and the others. Although his cultivation had reached the second-rank true god realm, his combat strength wasn't comparable to Feng Yuandao and the others, who were at the first-rank true god realm. Lu Ming's current strength had greatly increased compared to when he was in the Netherdragon secret territory. It was easy for him to deal with the purple-robed youth. You're so weak and yet you want to fight for the position of captain. Who else wants the captain flag? Come on. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the other 8 people. The faces of a few people changed. Their cultivation was on par with the purple-robed youth. Since Lu Ming could easily suppress the purple-robed youth, they definitely weren't his match. However, not everyone was afraid of it. Lad, you're pretty strong. You must be one of the top 3 on the empty god list. The long-faced youth squinted his eyes and said coldly. The eyes of the others flashed as realization dawned on them. Only the top 3 empty gods on the empty god list had such terrifying strength. You talk too much. If you want to fight, then hurry up. If you don't, then get lost. Lu Ming reprimanded. Arrogant. I can even easily suppress the number 1 on the empty god list. Today, I'll show you the difference between the outer sect and inner sect. The long-faced youth's eyes were cold. His body flashed and he charged towards Lu Ming like a bolt of lightning. His speed was shockingly fast. This was a godly speed skill and an ordinary person wouldn't be able to react in time. However, Lu Ming wasn't an ordinary person. Wang. The long spear in his hand buzzed and vibrated. Then, it shot out explosively, instantly turning into dozens of spear shadows that pierced in all directions. Whoosh. In the next moment, the long-faced young man's figure appeared. He floated backward and dodged Lu Ming's attack. Brat, your reaction is quite sharp. In that case, I'll use my strength to suppress you. The long-faced youth yelled coldly. The aura of a 4th-level true god completely erupted. A 4th-level true god was much stronger than a 2nd-level true god. Divine power surged like waves, forming a terrifying pressure that pressed down on Lu Ming. A long spear appeared in his hand. Meteor spear. With a low shout, the long-faced youth thrust his spear at Lu Ming like a meteor. A terrifying divine skill, under the support of a level 4 true god's divine power, the power was astonishingly strong. Lu Ming immediately activated the battle character secret art to double his battle prowess. The divine force in his body circulated at full force, and the 5 divine fires burned fiercely, bursting out with shocking power. World-extinguishing 3 strikes, sky-piercing. Lu Ming used his most powerful move right away. 2 beams of spear gleams collided in the air, as though 2 stars had collided. Dong. A terrifying explosion sounded, and a terrifying force spread out in all directions. The others' faces changed, and they hurriedly retreated, circulating their divine power to resist. Peng! Peng! The scattered energy slammed into the ground and the walls. Even though the ground and walls were made of ice that had been frozen for hundreds of millions of years, they still left deep scars on them. Then, the crowd saw a figure retreating continuously. Every step he took would leave a footprint on the ground. He retreated more than 10 steps before he could stabilize himself. The person who retreated was the long-faced youth. Sigh sigh sigh. At the scene, there was a sound of people sucking in cold air. Lu Ming actually repelled the long-faced youth. How was this possible? The long-faced youth had a 4th-level true god cultivation. An 8th-level void god could actually repel a 4th-level true god. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary 4th-level true god. What kind of monster was this? The others could no longer use the word shock to describe their feelings. They simply thought that they were dreaming. Impossible, the long-faced youth found it hard to believe. He has some strength. A fourth-level true god is indeed powerful. Lu Ming said in his heart. A fourth-level true god was much stronger than a second-level true god. Even Lu Ming couldn't defeat him easily. And hi, let's attack together. Let's attack together and suppress this kid. At this moment, the long-faced youth shouted. He was calling out to the burly youth. Among this group of people, he and the burly youth, and Hai, had the highest cultivation level. They had reached the fourth level of True God Realm. The rest of them were at the second or third level of True God Realm. They were no match for Lu Ming. All right, let's attack together. And Hai took a step forward, and a metal rod appeared in his hand. It was pitch black, and looked extremely heavy. Kid, your strength is beyond my expectation. As long as you can defeat the two of us, I will recognize you as the leader. No, you will be my boss in the future, and I will follow you. And Hai said in a deep voice, and his eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit. Up to you. Attack. Lu Ming said. Attack. The long-faced youth shouted and unleashed his full strength to attack Lu Ming. He displayed his divine skill, Meteor Spear, to the extreme. At the same time, An Hai also attacked. His iron rod was like a mountain, pressing down on Lu Ming. When the two of them joined forces, their strength was unleashed to the extreme, and the power was overwhelming. Even Lu Ming didn't dare to be careless. Boom. Lu Ming activated the battle character formula consecutively, and his combat strength was increased by 3 times. Third strike of extinction, sky-piercing. Lu Ming displayed the third strike of extinction once again, and 2 spear lights clashed with the long-faced youth and An Hai. Boom. Boom. After a few collisions, the two figures retreated. It was An Hai and the long-faced youth. After Lu Ming activated the third strike of extinction, the two of them were even weaker, and they were suppressed by Lu Ming. As the two of them retreated, Lu Ming immediately followed up. His spear light was like a mountain pillar, pressing down on the two of them. The two of them roared and tried their best to resist, but they couldn't. As the spear light pressed down, the two of them coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Their figures retreated rapidly, and they crashed into the wall, almost shattering the wall made of 100 million years dark ice. The two of them coughed out large mouthfuls of blood, and their faces were as pale as paper. They looked at Lu Ming in horror. God, this. The others were also shocked to the extreme, and their throats were trembling as if there was a lump of dog hair stuck in their throats. Dong. Lu Ming took a step forward, and the palace shook. His fighting spirit was soaring. Wait, I don't want to fight anymore, I surrender, and Hai was the first to shout. He looked at Lu Ming with reverence and deep admiration. Lu Ming, you're crazy. I, and Hai, am a man of my words. Since you've defeated us, you'll be the captain from now on, and also my boss. And Hai patted his chest and said. Lu Ming didn't comment. He looked at the long-faced youth and said, What about you, do you still want to fight? Chapter 27:27. The long-faced young man's face turned pale. He gritted his teeth and walked into a room without saying a word. Did I say you could leave? Lu Ming said coldly. The long-faced young man's body stiffened and he stopped in his tracks. What do you want? The long-faced young man asked with an ugly expression. However, Lu Ming ignored him. He swept his gaze across the rest. What about you guys? Who wants to fight? Come at me together. Don't waste time. Lu Ming said. The other 7 young men and women shuddered and broke out in cold sweat. What a joke. The long-faced young man and An Hai, 2 level 4 true gods, were no match for Lu Ming. Were they looking for trouble? Senior brother Lu, you must be joking. You are strong enough to be the leader. We are convinced. Yes, we are convinced. The others quickly nodded and bowed. In the cultivation world, the strong were respected. Since Lu Ming was stronger than them, they had to call Lu Ming senior brother, even if he was just an outer disciple. Alright, since that is the case, I will say this. Since I am the leader, you must listen to my orders. Otherwise, Don't blame me for being rude. Lu Ming said coldly. Of course, of course, of course. The others nodded and bowed. Only the long-faced young man's face became gloomier. Get lost. Lu Ming waved his hands. Everyone felt as if they had been granted amnesty. They found a room to stay in. Lu Ming also found a room to stay in. The next few days were peaceful. Lu Ming cultivated wholeheartedly. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. After 7 days, the ice soul race that had received them before came again. Lu Ming and the others came to the courtyard. Everyone, the outstanding talents of the other sects are all here. The 9th young master intends to let everyone meet first to familiarize themselves with each other. That way, they will be able to cooperate better in future missions. The 9th young master has already prepared a banquet. The Ice Soul Race elder said with a smile. Senior, how many sects are participating this time? Lu Ming asked. Other than your Kongshen school, there are 5 other sects. One of them is the Mystic Academy, one of the 3 overlords. The elder from the Ice Soul clan explained. Mystic Academy. Lu Ming, and Hai, and the others were shocked. What exactly was the mission this time around? There were a total of 6 sects and factions invited, and one of them was even an overlord faction. Senior, what is the mission this time? Lu Ming asked again. The others also looked curious. They couldn't understand. The Ice Soul Race was extremely powerful. What kind of mission would they have that they couldn't complete on their own? Why would they ask for help? More importantly, the Ice Soul Race only needed to send out a high-level True God Realm expert to suppress them. 9th young master will explain this later. The old man of the Ice Soul clan smiled and didn't explain further. The group followed the old man and soon arrived at a spacious courtyard. The courtyard was very large, and there was a small lake in the middle of the courtyard. The strangest thing was that the lake water didn't freeze even though the temperature was so low. Rows of seats were placed beside the lake. These seats were also carefully arranged. There were a total of 7 areas. The highest area had the most seats, and it was already filled with people. These people had long snow-white hair and snow-white pupils. It was obvious that they were from the Ice Soul race. The other 5 seats were also filled with people at this moment. Obviously, these people were from the other 5 sects. The group landed on the ground. The Ice Soul Race elder walked toward the seats and bowed to a young man in the middle. 9th young master, the people from the Kongshen school are here. This young man had long snow-white hair and was very handsome. He was the Ice Soul Race's 9th young master, Bing Qing. All right, you may leave. Bing Qing waved his hand. The Ice Soul Race elder and the others bowed and left. Lu Ming, and Hai, and the others looked at the people from the other sects. They were all young people. The people from the other 5 sects and the Ice Soul Race were all young people. Judging from their life auras, they were all younger than 10,000 years old. Who ya? Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes moved and he looked at a certain area. This was the area where the Mystic Academy was located. The Mystic Academy had the most people, with a total of 18 people. Lu Ming recognized one of them. It was Hu Ya, the prodigy of the Tiger tribe who had fought with Lu Ming during the Qin Tian 13 sex recruitment test. As Lu Ming and the others were looking at the others were looking at them as well. Haha, the Kongshen school actually sent an empty god to do this mission. What a joke. Is he looking down on the Ice Soul Race and treating this mission as a joke? A sharp voice sounded. It came from the Mystic Academy. It was a young man from the Mystic Academy. The others were curious as well. Lu Ming did not deliberately hide his ability. Everyone could tell at one glance that Lu Ming's cultivation level was at the 8th level of the Void God realm. The people who had come to complete this mission were all prodigies of the True God realm and above. Even the people from the Ice Soul Race were surprised that the Kongshen school had sent an empty god realm. Don't spout nonsense. Since when did the Kongshen school look down on the Ice Soul Race? And Hai looked at the young man from the Mystic Academy and said unhappily, "You're still denying it. Then why did you send an empty god realm?" I think the Kongshen school is just trying to get away with this mission and get more benefits. The young man from the Mystic Academy sneered. The Kongxian school was the leader of the top 10 sects. Their strength had increased rapidly over the years and they had become a threat to the three overlords. Therefore, the relationship between the three overlords and the Kongxian school wasn't good. The Mystic Academy seized the opportunity to suppress the Kongxian school. Bullshit. The Mystic Academy is the one who is trying to get away with this mission. Enhai shouted. What did you say? Are you looking for trouble? The young man from the Mystic Academy wasn't afraid at all and he exuded a powerful aura. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Enhai said loudly. He didn't back down. The two sides were about to fight. Haha, you are all guests. Why don't you sit down and have a drink? Bing Qing, the 9th lord of the Ice Soul race, laughed and tried to smooth things over. He had to give face to the 9th lord of the Ice Soul race. The young man from the Mystic Academy retracted his aura and looked at Enhai coldly. I'll let you go today for the sake of Lord Bing Qing. Humph, we don't know who will let you go yet. Enhai said unhappily. Haha, everyone from the Kongxian school, please take a seat. Bing Qing laughed again and pointed to an empty seat. There were 10 tables and chairs in this seat. It was the same number as the 10 people from the Kongxian school. It was obviously prepared for the Kongxian school. Chapter 27-28. Moreover, these seats were arranged in a particular way. They were arranged like a fan, with the middle seat protruding and the seats on both sides leaning back slightly. Lu Ming and the rest of the team walked toward their seats. Lu Ming sat down in the middle seat while the rest of the team sat on both sides of the seat. The people from the other sects were stunned when they saw where Lu Ming and the rest of the team were seated. This was because the middle seat was usually reserved for the team leaders. For example, the 9th young master of the Ice Spirit tribe, Bing Qing, was seated in the middle. The people from the other sects who were seated in the middle were the team leaders of this mission. If Lu Ming was seated in the middle, wouldn't that mean that Lu Ming was the team leader of the 10 members of the Kongxian school? An empty god was the team leader? Ha ha ha. What a joke. How could the Kongxian school let an empty god be the team leader? What a joke. The young man from the Mystic Academy who had spoken earlier laughed out loud. His voice was filled with mockery. In my opinion, the Kongxian school has no other capable people. How could they let an empty god be the team leader? I can foresee how useless the rest of the team members are. How could such a sect be worthy of being the top of the top 10 sects? Another young man from the Mystic Academy sneered. The other sects also sneered at the Kongxian school. This time, even Bing Qing and the other young supreme talents from the Ice Spirit tribe looked displeased. It was still acceptable for an empty god to follow them. However, this empty god was actually the leader of the Ice Spirit tribe. This was clearly looking down on the Ice Spirit tribe. What did they take the Ice Spirit tribe for? They had invited the supreme talents from the Kongxian school to help them because they had to give the Kongxian school a lot of benefits. Otherwise, how could Lu Ming and the rest of the team have been rewarded with 20,000 points for completing the mission? The Ice Spirit tribe had given the Kongxian school a lot of benefits so that the Kongxian school could reward them with a lot of points. Now, the young man from the Mystic Academy had said that letting a virtual god be the team leader was simply perfunctory. In the Kongxian school, the long-faced youth, the purple-robed youth, and the others all had ugly expressions on their faces. They had expected this to happen, which was why they wanted to take Lu Ming's position as team leader. You're all fucking bullshit. The position of captain of Kongxian school is naturally reserved for the strongest person. What do you know? Lu Ming didn't say anything, but Enhai couldn't help but roar. The strongest person? Annihility god is your strongest person. You guys are really useless. Ha ha ha. The young men of the Hybrid Demon Academy burst out laughing with mocking expressions. In my opinion, your Kongxian school's title as the leader of the top 10 sects is completely undeserved. Why don't you just give it up? On the right side of Lu Ming's group, a young man from a sect sneered. This sect was one of the Qin Tian 13 sects, the Flowing Water sect. The Flowing Water sect wasn't very strong in the Qin Tian 13 sects. It was almost at the bottom. However, the Flowing Water sect had a very good relationship with the Mystic Academy. They usually followed the Mystic Academy's lead. Some people even joked that the Flowing Water sect was a dog of the Mystic Academy. The Kongxian school and the Mystic Academy had a conflict, so they naturally stood on the side of the Mystic Academy. "What's a dog barking for?" Enhai retorted very rudely. "What did you say? A bunch of useless people. I think you should go back. Don't make a fool of yourself here. You'll drag us down when you participate in the mission." A black-faced youth from the Flowing Water sect hooted. He then looked at Lu Ming with disdain and said, "What? You're not convinced, right? If you're not convinced, then let's fight. Kid, I challenge you now." At the end of his sentence, the black-faced youth stood up and pointed at Lu Ming, shouting loudly, "Are you sure you want to challenge me?" Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. "Yes, I want to challenge you. I'm in the Flowing Water sect and I'm not the captain. Now I challenge you, the captain. Do you dare to accept?" The black-faced youth said loudly. He seemed to be reckless, but he was actually very shrewd. In his opinion, Lu Ming was a nihility god realm martial artist who couldn't withstand a single blow. He wasn't the captain of the Flowing Water sect, but he defeated the captain of the Kongxian school. It was equivalent to slapping the Kongxian school's face. He could make a name for himself and please the Mystic Academy's prodigies. It was killing two birds with one stone. "You're not qualified to make me fight. Enhai, go and teach him a lesson. Make him kneel on the ground and apologize." Lu Ming raised his wine cup and slowly took a sip. "Good, that's what I want." Enhai revealed a ferocious expression and strode towards the Flowing Water sect. Bing Qing's eyes flashed, but she didn't stop him. The Mystic Academy's prodigies also watched with interest. "Brat, kneel down." Enhai quickened his pace and finally jumped up. Like a goshawk, he swooped down towards the black-faced youth from the Flowing Water sect. The vast palm force was like an avalanche as it pressed towards the black-faced youth. The black-faced youth's expression changed as he punched out continuously. His fist technique was like flowing water. After dozens of punches, the sky was filled with fist shadows. The fist shadows gathered into a river and rushed towards Enhai. However, Enhai's cultivation was at level 4 True God Realm, while the black-faced youth was only at level 2 True God Realm. The difference was too big. Under the pressure of Enhai's palm force, the black-faced youth's fist shadows collapsed. Boom! The palm force was like a mountain, pressing down on the black-faced youth. The black-faced youth screamed and knelt on the ground with a plop. "Presumptuous! You're courting death." The other youths from the Flowing Water sect were enraged. They roared and pounced towards Enhai, including the captain of the Flowing Water sect. "Come on, all of you kneel down." Enhai revealed a ferocious expression. A long staff appeared in his hand. The long staff swept out, exploding the void and creating a terrifying boom. The sky was filled with staff shadows, pressing down on the Flowing Water sect's elites like a mountain. There were a total of 6 youths from the Flowing Water sect, but the strongest one was only at level 3 True God Realm. He was no match for Enhai. Peng! 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 After a series of explosions, the Flowing Water sect's disciples were thrown back and vomited blood. Only the captain was in a better state, but he was also thrown back and vomited blood. Level 4 True God Realm. The captain of the Flowing Water sect shouted, revealing a shocked expression. Those who came this time were those who had cultivated for less than 10,000 years. It was rare to be able to cultivate to level 4 True God Realm within 10,000 years. The others were also shocked. They looked at Enhai with a dignified expression. However, they could not figure out why Enhai was not the captain of the Kongxian school. Instead, the captain was a level 8 empty God Realm martial artist. Could it be that the kid has a high status in the Kongxian school and is the descendant of a big shot? Many people thought so. This was very likely. Otherwise, with Enhai's cultivation, why would they listen to Lu Ming and let Lu Ming be the captain? With your cultivation, you dare to criticize my Kongxian school. Kneel down and apologize to me. Enhai's iron staff pressed down on the captain of the Flowing Water sect. Chapter 27-29. Enhai's iron rod was like a steel mountain under his divine power. It was extremely thick and filled with terrifying power. Although the flowing water sect's captain tried his best, the difference in their cultivation levels was obvious. He was completely outclassed and was forced to retreat. His body trembled as he coughed out blood. Kneel. Unhai was extremely domineering. He pressed his iron rod down again, wanting to force the flowing water sect's captain to kneel on the ground. Enough. At this moment, a cold voice came from the Mystic Academy. It was the Mystic Academy's captain, a young man with black demonic tattoos on his face. As soon as he spoke, a young man sitting next to him dashed out at an incredible speed. In the next moment, he appeared in front of the flowing water sect's captain. A large cauldron appeared in his hand and he swung it at Unhai's iron rod. Dong! There was an earth-shattering roar as the energy spread out in all directions. Then, the two figures took a few steps back. Unhai and the young man from the Yimo Academy were evenly matched in this exchange. 4th level True God Realm. Unhai licked his lips. His eyes were even more ferocious and filled with a strong desire to battle. Unhai had always been a person who liked to fight. However, Unhai did not continue to attack. He knew that since the Mystic Academy had made a move, it would be difficult to make the flowing water sect's captain kneel. The Kongxian school is so arrogant. You made the other sect's elites kneel in front of everyone. What's wrong? Do you want to replace the Mystic Academy and become the overlord? The Mystic Academy's captain said coldly. As soon as he opened his mouth, he put a big hat on the Kongxian school's head. As he spoke, the Mystic Academy's captain looked at Lu Ming. His eyes were sharp as he said, also, as a captain, can you only hide behind others and give orders? I don't care who you are. It's okay if you act like a tyrant in the Kongxian school, but to act like a tyrant in front of the Mystic Academy is ridiculous. You said it yourself. I didn't say anything. Lu Ming said indifferently. But you have done it. You have to look at the owner before beating the dog. You have injured the people of the flowing water sect in front of me. You have to pay the price. Now, get out here and apologize to me, apologize to the flowing water sect, and apologize to the Mystic Academy. The captain of the Mystic Academy stared at Lu Ming. His gaze was so cold that it pierced through Lu Ming's bones. Apologize. You think too much. The flowing water sect being abused is purely their own fault. Lu Ming said calmly as he continued to drink his wine. His calm demeanor made the Mystic Academy captain's eyes turn even colder. Good, good, good. The captain of the Mystic Academy said good 3 times in a row. Then, he said coldly, then, you asked for it. Attack. I want that kid to kneel down. Boom. 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 As soon as the captain of the Mystic Academy finished speaking, 7 or 8 people from the Mystic Academy immediately stood up. Their bodies flashed and appeared in different places. A few of them blocked the long-faced young man from the Kongxian school. The long-faced young man's expression changed, but he didn't make a move in the end. He just waited and watched. Get out of my way. On the other hand, Unhai roared and waved his iron rod, trying to blow away the people in front of him. Behave yourself. In front of Unhai, the man with the cauldron waved his cauldron like a mountain towards Unhai. The two of them exchanged a few moves, but they were evenly matched. Unhai was held back. In this way, the people of the Kongxian school were all held back. Only Lu Ming was still sitting in his seat and drinking wine. Leave this kid to me. During the 13 sex assessment, this kid killed many of my tiger tribe's elites. Today, I will make him kneel in front of me and repent. Hu Yue suddenly stood up from his seat in the Mystic Academy and stared at Lu Ming ferociously. Oh, he's from the same batch as you? The captain of the Mystic Academy was stunned. That's right. However, during the 13 sex assessment, my cultivation was suppressed and I couldn't use my full strength. That's why I couldn't take revenge. Now, it's the right time. Hu Yue said ferociously. All right, I'll leave this kid to you. The captain of the Mystic Academy said. Boom. A powerful aura erupted from Hu Yue's body, suppressing Lu Ming. Level 1 True God Realm. This was Hu Yue's level. During the 13 sex assessment, Hu Yue's cultivation was already at level 9 Empty God Realm. It wasn't surprising that he had broken through to the True God Realm. Lu Ming, get up and fight with me. I'll let you know what true combat strength is. Hu Yue strode toward Lu Ming. He had a ferocious look and his mouth was wide open. His body was like a huge mountain. Most people would tremble in fear if they were suppressed by his aura. However, Lu Ming didn't even look at Hu Yue as he said, I'm not interested in fighting with a loser. Find someone who can fight. Although Hu Yue controlled sacred-grade divine power and had powerful combat strength, Lu Ming's cultivation had already reached level 8 Void God Realm and he had improved greatly in all aspects. Moreover, he had cultivated the Heaven and Earth 10,000 Tao Sutra. However, Hu Yue felt insulted by Lin Fan's words. Arrogant. If my cultivation wasn't suppressed back then, I could have killed you with a finger. Hu Yue roared. He took a step forward and appeared before Lu Ming. His huge palm reached out to grab Lu Ming's head. He wanted to crush Lu Ming's head like a watermelon. As the huge palm pressed down, energy filled the air. Lu Ming's seat and the dishes on it shook violently. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. A gust of divine force spread out and covered the dishes, preventing them from moving. Then, Lu Ming raised his hand and stabbed out with his finger like a spear. Shoosh! A spear radiance shot out from Lu Ming's finger and hit Hu Yue's palm. Boom! When divine forces collided, there was a loud explosion. Then, there was a painful roar. A figure was pushed back, causing the ground to rumble. It was Hu Yue who was pushed back. Moreover, there was a bloody hole in his palm and blood was flowing out. Apart from the people from the Kongxian sect, everyone's gaze froze as they looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming sat there without moving. How could he be so strong to be able to pierce through Hu Yue's palm? Lu Ming's cultivation was only at level 8 Empty God Realm. On the other hand, Hu Yue was already at level 1 True God Realm. Most importantly, Hu Yue wasn't an ordinary person. He was a peerless genius who controlled divine force. Even in the Mystic Academy, there weren't many people like him. When he grew up, he would be the holy son of the Mystic Academy. He would be qualified to compete for the position of the Dean of the Mystic Academy in the future. His combat strength couldn't be measured by his cultivation. It was easy for him to fight someone of a higher cultivation level. However, he had been injured by Lu Ming, who was a higher cultivation level than him. Even Hu Yue himself was incomparably shocked. This was because he clearly knew that in the previous clash, his divine power had been easily pierced through. Chapter 2730. Didn't you say that you wanted to show me your strength? Is this all you've got? Lu Ming looked at Hu Yue in disdain, his voice filled with mockery. I don't believe that I will lose to an empty god with my true god realm cultivation. Tigers roar, tear him apart. Hu Yue's eyes turned red as he roared. Divine force surged from his body, causing his body to swell up. Roar. A tiger's roar shook the entire place. Hu Yue turned into a half-human, half-tiger being. He stomped his feet and pounced towards Lu Ming like a gust of wind. This was the secret technique of the tiger tribe. Once it was unleashed, one's strength would increase. Many special tribes had their own secret techniques. Only that tribe could unleash the secret techniques and they were all different. This was something that the human tribe could not compare to. Lu Ming became more serious as he stood up. A long spear appeared in his hand and he swept it out. Boom! A huge spear radiance swept towards Hu Yue. Tear him apart! Hu Yue roared. His fingernails were as sharp as blades as he continuously clawed out. The sky was filled with claw imprints as they clawed towards the spear light. Bam! 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 In an instant, the two of them had clashed dozens of times. Hu Yue's face changed drastically as he grunted and his body flew backwards. In mid-air, blood spurted out from his mouth. A disciple of the Mystic Academy flew towards the sky and caught Hu Yue before landing on the ground. Hu Yue vomited blood as his aura weakened. He was severely injured and could no longer fight. Weak. Lu Ming spoke nonchalantly, his tone full of disdain. Puff. Hearing Lu Ming's words, Hu Yue vomited another mouthful of blood out of anger. He had always thought that he had lost to Lu Ming during the Qin Tian 13 sex assessment because he had suppressed his cultivation. If he had not suppressed his cultivation, he could have killed Lu Ming with a single finger. He didn't expect that after meeting Lu Ming for several decades, he would be unable to withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. He was easily crushed by Lu Ming. It was really hard for him to accept. "Brat, how dare you injure a disciple of the Mystic Academy? How dare you? Let me teach you a lesson." With a roar, a bald young man rushed out from the Mystic Academy. This bald youth exuded an extremely shocking aura. He was a level 4 true God Realm genius, and his cultivation was not any weaker than Enhai's. Boom! The bald youth soared into the air. His leg was like a steel whip, sweeping towards Lu Ming. This person's leg technique was extremely impressive. Before the leg arrived, the terrifying force was already pressing towards Lu Ming like an avalanche. Lu Ming swept out with his spear and collided with the bald youth's leg. There was a violent explosion. The bald youth's figure floated backward, and the long spear in Lu Ming's hand, which was condensed from divine power, trembled non-stop and almost collapsed. "There's a divine artifact on his leg." Lu Ming squinted his eyes. His opponent was wearing a pair of golden boots, which was a divine artifact. Lu Ming didn't use a divine artifact, so the long spear condensed from divine power almost collapsed. With a thought, a divine artifact long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. Heaven stabilizing kick, heaven stabilizing strike. The bald youth retreated and stabilized himself in the air. Then, he rushed towards Lu Ming. Both of his legs kicked out consecutively. His entire person was like a drill, blasting towards Lu Ming. Sky-piercing. Lu Ming executed the sky-piercing strike. A resplendent spear light collided with the bald youth. Chi energy spread out in all directions, and the bald youth was sent flying back several tens of thousands of meters. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was injured. How is this possible? The others widened their eyes, unable to believe what they were seeing. Lu Ming actually injured the bald youth. The bald youth was a level 4 true God Realm genius. His combat strength wasn't something that Huaye could compare with. However, he wasn't a match for Lu Ming. A level 8 empty God Realm genius was actually able to suppress a level 4 true God Realm genius. What kind of freak was that? Everyone finally knew why Lu Ming could become the leader of the Kongxian school. It was because he had the strength to do so. Previously, Enhai had said loudly that Lu Ming could become the leader of the Kongxian school because he was the strongest. However, no one believed him at that time. They all thought that Enhai was bragging. Now, they knew that what Enhai said was the truth. How is this possible? Huaye couldn't believe his own eyes. He was in control of the sacred divine power and considered himself a peerless genius. To him, it was nothing out of the ordinary for him to fight someone of a higher level. However, he now realized that he was nothing compared to Lu Ming. This kid, the leader of the Mystic Academy, narrowed his eyes in shock. Even if it were the remnants of the 3 overlord forces, none of them would possess such horrifying fighting strength if they were to fight at the same level as them. Interesting, interesting. The 9th prince of the Ice Spirit race, Bing Qing, said. The genius of the Mystic Academy is only SOSO. Lu Ming said indifferently. Kid, don't be arrogant. Let me fight you. Take this. The geniuses of the Hybrid Demon Academy were enraged. 2 young men immediately dashed toward Lu Ming and charged toward him. These 2 young men, their cultivations were shockingly also level 4 true God. The Mystic Academy was indeed one of the 3 overlords of the Qin Tian Starfield. They were indeed powerful. They already had 4 level 4 true God Realm geniuses. One should know that the only level 4 true God Realm geniuses in the Kongxian school were Enhai and the long-faced youth. Of course, there were other geniuses who had cultivated for less than 10,000 years. However, it was enough to show how powerful the Mystic Academy was. The 2 geniuses at the 4th level of True God Realm attacked Lu Ming fiercely from both sides. Their divine skills had been cultivated to the 3rd level and their powers were very shocking. At the same time, the bald youth also exerted his full strength. He stepped in the air and appeared above Lu Ming. He looked down and stomped his foot down. The 3 experts teamed up to deal with Lu Ming. At the same time, They unleashed their strongest attacks. Even an ordinary level 5 True God Realm or level 6 True God Realm expert would have to dodge, let alone a level 8 Empty God Realm expert. However, Lu Ming's face was calm. At this moment, his battle intent shot up to the sky. An even stronger force was released from his body. The battle character art had tripled his combat strength. Third strike of destruction, break the sky. With the battle character art tripled his combat strength, Lu Ming unleashed the third strike of destruction. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming stabbed his spear out 3 times. The 3 spear shadows shot up from 3 different directions and stabbed towards the 3 young geniuses of the Mystic Academy. Boom, boom, boom. A violent explosion rang out, and it was as if 3 stars had exploded in the sky. You're defeated. Lu Ming roared. As Lu Ming roared, the 3 figures retreated a few thousand meters away. Their bodies were covered in blood. Chapter 2731. Defeated. The 3 Sky Prides from the Mystic Academy were all defeated. Every one of them had a gunshot wound on their chests. The wound was penetrated from the front to the back, and fresh blood was flowing out. The 3 of them were pale and their auras were weak. Their faces were filled with shock. At that moment, they thought that they were going to die. The others were shocked as well. Lu Ming had won in a 1 versus 3 situation. His combat power could no longer be described as shocking. Even Bing Qing, who was experienced and knowledgeable, had a strong sense of shock in her eyes. The people from the other sects gasped. Mystic Academy, is there anyone else who wants to fight? Lu Ming held his gun with one hand and looked at the people from the Mystic Academy. I didn't expect the Kongxian school to have someone like you. All right, I'll fight you today. A cold voice sounded. It was the leader of the Mystic Academy. Just now, he had been sitting in his seat, but now, he suddenly stood up. Boom. An incomparably terrifying aura burst out from this person's body, and a boundless pressure permeated the void. Plop. Some people actually couldn't withstand this pressure and directly sat down on the ground. The crowd felt as if a mountain was pressing down on them. This aura, Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a trace of seriousness. The leader of the Mystic Academy was definitely a terrifying person. The leader of the Mystic Academy was a level 5 True God. However, the aura he gave off was much stronger than the other level 4 True Gods. Even if An Hai was a level 5 True God, he wouldn't be able to give off such a strong aura. The divine power that this person wielded was of the saint grade. Without a doubt, he was a top-notch Sky Pride. His combat strength wasn't something that Huye could compare with. Huye was only a level 1 True God, but this person was already a level 5 True God. A powerful aura also erupted from Lu Ming's body. His entire being was like a divine spear, showing its sharpness. Boom. Their auras collided in the air, causing a thunderous explosion. The terrifying pressure caused all the seats to tremble, as if they were about to explode at any moment. Many people quickly used their divine power to protect themselves. They knew that once Lu Ming fought with the leader of the Mystic Academy, the destruction would be terrifying. The 9th young lord of the Ice Soul clan suddenly stood up and stepped between Lu Ming and the leader of the Mystic Academy. A chilling aura radiated from his body. This chilling aura was terrifying. It was as if it was going to freeze everything in the world. Lu Ming and the leader of the Mystic Academy's aura seemed to be frozen by this aura. They couldn't help but retract their auras. What terrifying strength! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Bing Qing was most likely more powerful than the team leader of the Hybrid Demon Academy. Can the 2 of you give me some face and let today's matter end here? Bing Qing asked. He didn't stop them before because he wanted to see how strong they were. However, the situation was getting out of hand. If the Kongxian School and the Mystic Academy fought, it would be detrimental to the mission. Therefore, he stood out to stop them. The leader of the Mystic Academy looked at Bing Qing with a serious expression. He couldn't see through Bing Qing's cultivation and it gave him great pressure. Kid, you're lucky today. I hope your luck will continue to be this good. The leader of the Mystic Academy looked coldly at Lu Ming. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes. The Kongxian school had a prodigy like Lu Ming. This made him feel shocked. This person can't be allowed to live. The leader of the Mystic Academy thought. The Kongxian school was the top of the top 10 sects. They had become stronger over the years and were a threat to the three overlords. Therefore, a prodigy like Lu Ming couldn't be allowed to live. Once he grew up, he would be even more terrifying. Lu Ming smiled faintly and returned to his seat. Bing Qing and the others also returned to their seats. Thank you all for coming today. I believe that everyone is curious about the mission this time. Now, I will briefly explain the mission this time. The mission is to go to one of the ancestral grounds of the Ice Spirit clan and retrieve a treasure called the Ice Jade Heart. The path to the ancestral grounds is guarded by powerful restrictions, especially the age restriction. Only those who are under 10,000 years old can enter. Bing Qing said. Everyone was enlightened. No wonder the sects only sent out prodigies under 10,000 years old. Therefore, with the Ice Spirit clan's strength, they would ask for help from the other sects. However, the Ice Spirit clan's prodigies under 10,000 years old were limited. There must be danger in your ancestral grounds. Someone asked. Of course. According to the ancient records, there are desolate beasts inside. Otherwise, why would the Ice Spirit clan pay such a high price? If you are afraid and don't want to go, you can go back now. The Ice Spirit clan will send you back. Bing Qing smiled. Everyone was silent. They had already expected that there would be danger. Otherwise, the reward wouldn't be so high. The Kongxian school alone was worth 20,000 points. The other sects gave similar rewards. All right. Since no one wants to back out, we will depart in 3 days. Come, let's drink. Bing Qing said with a smile. Everyone began to toast and drink. After 3 rounds of drinks, everyone left. You guys go back first. I have something to do. Lu Ming said to Anhai and the others. Anhai and the others nodded and left. Soon, only Lu Ming and a few people from the Ice Spirit clan were left. Brother Lu, do you have something to say? Bing Qing looked at Lu Ming. Yes, I have something to ask the 9th young lord. Lu Ming said. He wanted to ask Bing Qing about the whereabouts of the cold moonstones. If possible, he wanted to buy some. Oh, you guys go back first. Bing Qing waved at the people from the Ice Spirit clan and they left. Brother Lu, what is it? Bing Qing smiled. 9th young lord, Lu Ming wants to ask if the Ice Spirit clan has any cold moonstones. Lu Ming went straight to the point and asked directly. Cold moonstones. Bing Qing's expression changed slightly. She nodded and said, that's right. The Ice Spirit clan does have cold moonstones. There is really one. Lu Ming was elated. 9th young lord, can you sell a few cold moonstones to Lu Ming? Lu Ming asked. Sell them to you? I don't think so. The 9th young lord shook his head. You can't sell them? Lu Ming was stunned. That's right. Brother Lu, to tell you the truth, the cold moonstone is an extremely precious treasure in the Ice Soul clan. Every time one is used, there will only be one left. Even now, the number of cold moonstones in the Ice Soul clan is extremely small. They are kept in the treasure vault of our clan's big shots. Even I find it extremely difficult to obtain one. Bing Qing smiled bitterly. Chapter 2732. Lu Ming was disappointed. He originally thought that even if the Ice Soul clan did not have a lot of cold moonstones, it would not be rare. He did not expect that even in the Ice Soul clan, cold moonstones were extremely precious treasures. Even Bing Qing found it difficult to obtain one, so it would be impossible for him to buy some. It seems like I'll have to find a replacement in the future if I want to cultivate the frost shackles to greater mastery. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. Cold moonstones weren't the only thing he could use to cultivate the frost shackles to greater mastery. He could also use other precious materials, but most of them were extremely precious. Brother Lu, if you really want the cold moonstones, there's a way. Bing Qing suddenly changed the topic. What way? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. To tell you the truth, most of the cold moonstones in the Ice Soul clan came from the ancestral land. However, The ancestral land was closed for some reason a long time ago, and it was filled with powerful restrictions. Only after a long time will the restrictions weaken, and outsiders can enter the ancestral land. If you're lucky, you might be able to get some cold moon stones this time. Our main purpose in entering the ancestral land this time is to obtain the Ice Jade Heart Chill, but we also want to get some cold moon stones. Bing Ching said. So, the cold moon stones come from the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He was looking forward to this trip to the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land. He had to get some cold moon stones. Brother Lu, if you find any cold moon stones in the ancestral land, they're yours. You can take them with you. Bing Ching added. Thank you, Ninth Young Lord. Lu Ming cupped his fists and thanked her. Then, he left. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. 3 days later, everyone gathered again. There were nearly 100 Sky Prides from the Mystic Academy, Kongshen School, and half of the Sky Prides from the Ice Soul clan. There were about 50 Sky Prides from the Ice Soul clan alone. All the top experts under the age of 10,000 had come. Bing Ching was the leader of the Ice Soul clan. Everyone, please follow me, said Bing Ching as she flew in a certain direction. Everyone followed Bing Ching to a large teleportation portal. The Ice Soul race's territory was very vast. They had more than 80 galaxies and countless planets. Their ancestral land was quite a distance away from the Ice Soul star. Beside the teleportation array, there were already dozens of figures. Those figures were all wearing white gowns. There were both men and women. However, they were all very old. Greetings, elders. Bing Ching and the other prodigies of the Ice Soul clan bowed to the old men. These old men were actually the elders of the Ice Soul clan. They were absolutely terrifying experts. Since everyone is here, let's set off. One of the elders of the Ice Spirit clan said as he stepped into the teleportation portal. Then, the other elders also stepped into the portal. Why would he need so many experts of the Ice Soul clan to work together? The same thought flashed through many people's minds, and then everyone stepped into the teleportation matrix. The teleportation matrix flashed, and everyone disappeared. After half a month of teleportation, they arrived at a barren planet. Then, one of the elders of the Ice Soul clan took out a large starship. Everyone boarded the starship and flew for a few more days. In front of them, a strange place appeared in front of them. In front of them in the universe, there were countless huge rocks floating in the air. These rocks looked like they were formed by the explosion of a planet. From afar, these rocks seemed to form a path that led straight ahead. This was the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. The elder put away the starship, and they stood in the universe. However, a layer of light appeared on Lu Ming and the others, enveloping them. True gods couldn't stay in the cosmos for too long. This light screen had naturally been set up by the elders of the Ice Soul tribe. The ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan is in the depths of these rocks. We need to pass through these rocks to enter the ancestral land. Bing Ching explained. Pass through these rocks. We are all in the true god realm. However, true gods cannot stay in the universe for long. Someone's expression changed. In front of them, those huge rocks were floating in the sky. It was no different from being exposed in the universe. Don't worry. This area was formed by the explosion of a planet with life a long time ago. It is full of powerful restrictions. However, because of the restrictions, the environment of this area is similar to that of a planet with life. As long as you are under 10,000 years old, you can enter. Bing Ching explained. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. All right, you can go in now. Bing Ching, you must remember that you only have half a year at most. After half a year, the restrictions here will be strengthened again. At that time, you won't be able to come out even if you want to. Remember, regardless of whether you complete the task or not, you must come out within half a year. Understand? One of the elders reminded Bing Ching. Understood. Bing Ching nodded. Her figure flashed, and she rushed towards the area filled with broken rocks. She rushed into the area and stood on a huge piece of broken rock. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The others also moved. They rushed out and stood on the rocks. It is indeed similar to the other planets with life. Lu Ming landed on a piece of gravel and his heart stirred. The environment here was similar to that of a planet with life. There was air and even divine qi, but the gravity here was much lower. Let's go. Bing Qing led the way into the depths of the area. They jumped on the rocks at an amazing speed. Soon, more than 100 people disappeared in front of the elders of the Ice Soul clan. Let's hope this trip is successful. One of the elders sighed. The Ice Soul heart was very important to the Ice Soul clan. However, a long time ago, there was a great turmoil in the Ice Soul clan. A fierce battle broke out, and the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan almost collapsed. Since then, a terrifying restriction was formed outside the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. No one could enter. They had to wait for a long time for the restriction to weaken for half a year. At that time, people under 10,000 years old could enter. They had sent people in a long time ago, but they failed. If they failed again, they would have to wait for many years. They're here. Suddenly, an elder of the Ice Soul clan looked in a direction. His eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. The other elders of the Ice Soul clan also looked in that direction with cold eyes. Whoosh! A huge starship came from that direction. As it approached, the starship stopped, and a group of people appeared in the starry sky. The people in the lead were also elders. However, their skin was red, and they emitted a scorching aura that seemed to ignite the starry sky. Chapter 2733. The Flame Race. These people were all experts from the Flame race. In the Qin Tian starfield, there were two races other than the Qin Tian 13 sects that were the strongest. They were the Ice Spirit race and the Flame race. Each of these two races was stronger than any single overlord sect. The two major races together occupied a small half of the Qin Tian Star universe's territory. Moreover, the Ice Spirit race and the Flame race had always been at odds with each other. The Ice Spirit race wanted to obtain the Ice Jade Heart from the ancestral land, but the Flame race naturally wouldn't allow it. Every time, the Flame race would send people to stop them. Behind the elders of the Flame race was a group of young experts. In addition to these young experts, there was also a group of young prodigies who weren't from the Flame race. If Lu Ming was here, he would recognize a few familiar faces. Jin Sheng from the Vaja race and Yang Chong. Both of them had competed with Lu Ming during the Qin Tian 13 sect's assessment. Later, Jin Sheng joined one of the three overlords, the Invincible Kens, while Yang Chong joined one of the three overlords, the Immeasurable Sacred Ground. Needless to say, these young prodigies were from the other Qin Tian 13 sects, the Invincible Kens, and the Immeasurable Sacred Ground. Flame race, you really came. An elder from the Ice Spirit race said coldly. You want to obtain the Ice Jade Heart and suppress my Flame race? Don't think it'll be that easy. An elder from the Flame race sneered. Don't even think about stopping us. The elder from the Ice Spirit race said coldly as a powerful aura erupted from his body. Boom, boom, boom. Dozens of elders of the Ice Soul clan burst forth with a terrifying aura at the same time. This aura was filled with a terrifying chill. The starry sky they were in was instantly frozen, and this freezing aura was spreading towards the Flame clan. Insignificant skill. Melt for me. The elder from the Flame race roared. Then, flames erupted from all the experts from the Flame race. The entire space was about to burn. Rumble. One side was cold and the other side was hot. Both sides constantly clashed, causing the space to shake violently. We'll hold off those old bastards from the Ice Soul clan. You guys rush into that area. The Scarlet Flame tribe's experts roared and attacked together. All kinds of attacks bombarded the Ice Soul tribe's elder. Kill. The elders of the Ice Soul clan also roared and launched an attack. The two sides engaged in an intense battle, and the scene was extremely shocking. If the two sides were to fight on a planet with life, it would probably cause a devastating disaster. The battle between such characters was too terrifying. Perhaps just a strand of energy leaked out could destroy a small chiliocosm like the primordial realm in the heaven realm. Charge. As the experts from both sides fought, The prodigies from the Flamewing clan and the other sects took the opportunity to charge into the area of rubble. Damn it! The elders of the Ice Soul clan roared, but they couldn't do anything. Countless years ago, the Ice Soul clan had gone through a great turmoil. Now, their strength was no longer as strong as the Flaming Flame clan. The Flaming Flame clan had come prepared. They had blocked the Ice Soul clan and allowed the others to take the opportunity to rush into the Shattered Rocks area. Seeing those young men rushing into the area of broken rocks, the two sides fought fiercely for a while, then both sides retreated and faced each other. Even if they rush into the Shattered Rocks area, they might not be able to stop the prodigies of the Ice Soul clan. An elder of the Ice Soul clan snorted. Oh, that might not be the case. An elder from the Flaming Flame clan sneered. The prodigies of the Flaming Flame clan and the other Qin Heavenly 13 sects moved forward as soon as they entered the Shattered Rocks area. They only stopped after going a long distance. Why did you stop moving forward? A prodigy from the Invincible Kens asked. Don't worry, we can't enter the real ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. Moreover, there are dangers in the real ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. Let's wait here until the people of the Ice Soul clan enter the ancestral land. Even if they manage to obtain the Ice Soul Heart Ice Jade, their vitality will be greatly damaged. Let's wait here and catch them off guard. We can kill them easily, a burly young man from the Flaming Flame clan said. Good plan. The others praised. Then, they set up concealment formations in the area. Lu Ming and the others continued moving forward. They had no idea what was going on behind them. The Shattered Rocks area was very long. They didn't know how many miles they had traveled. The distance they had traveled could be measured in hundreds of millions of miles. These were formed by the explosion of a planet of life. One could imagine how long it had been. After 6 or 7 days of traveling, they finally reached the end of the Shattered Rocks area. A huge light screen appeared in front of them, blocking their path. Behind this light screen is my clan's ancestral land. Only the token of my clan can open it. Bing Qing explained and took out a statue. The statue was only a foot tall. It looked like it was carved out of ice. It was crystal clear and emitted a bone-chilling coldness. Bing Qing lifted the statue and let it float in the air. Then, she formed a mysterious hand seal with both hands. Runes entered the statue one after another. Buzz. The statue began to vibrate and emit a bright light. The bone-chilling coldness became even stronger. Many people couldn't help but shiver and circulate their cultivation to resist. The light screen on the statue seemed to resonate with the light screen. The light screen trembled slightly. Then, a whirlpool appeared on the light screen. Quick, go in, Bing Qing shouted. The prodigy of the Ice Soul race was the first to rush into the whirlpool. Then, Lu Ming and the others rushed into the whirlpool. In the end, only Bing Qing was left. Bing Qing grabbed the statue and rushed into the whirlpool. The whirlpool slowly disappeared. After Lu Ming rushed into the whirlpool, he appeared on top of a mountain. To be more precise, it was an ice mountain. Sweeping his gaze around, Zhongxian noticed that Anhai and the others were still by his side. It's so cold. Someone shuddered, his voice trembling. The temperature in this world was shockingly low. When a cold wind blew, even true God Realm cultivators couldn't help but feel the coldness. They had to circulate their divine power to resist it. Everyone looked into the distance. What they saw was a snow-white land. It was snowing heavily, and the snow-white icebergs stretched as far as the eye could see. However, Lu Ming cultivated divine power of extreme frost. This environment didn't affect him at all. Instead, he felt very comfortable. He circulated his divine power of extreme frost. Strands of cold air gathered toward him and was refined by him into divine power of extreme frost. If one cultivated in this place, the cultivation speed of those who cultivated cold-type divine power would increase by quite a bit. Ninth young lord, where is the heart of ice jade that you're looking for? This world seems very big. Someone looked at Bing Qing and asked. I have a map here. Then, an ice jade talisman appeared in Bing Qing's hand. She inserted her divine power into it. The jade talisman glowed, and a map appeared in the air. Chapter 2734. Everyone started to look at the map carefully. At the southernmost part of the map, there was a red dot that was shining brightly. This red dot is our current location. The center of the map is our destination. Bing Ching explained and then pointed to the center of the map. There was a sign, the sign of an iceberg, in the center of the map. Memorize this map first. If we get separated, we will meet at the center. Within half a year, we will meet here and go out together. Bing Ching said. Everyone focused on the map and memorized it. Those who had reached the true God realm had a photographic memory. Soon, everyone had memorized the map. Let's go. Bing Ching kept the map and everyone flew towards the north. Hoo, the cold wind was bone-chilling and the temperature was shockingly low. However, there were still living things in this world despite the low temperature. On the iceberg and in the valleys, there were different kinds of plants. Some were as white as jade, some were as red as fire, and some were as green as jade. In the valleys, they could occasionally see the figures of some living things flashing by. Everyone was secretly impressed. Nature was indeed full of wonders. Soon, they had flown tens of millions of miles away. However, there was still a long way to go before they reached the center. Gah! At this moment, there was a sharp and ear-piercing sound. Then, a beam of white light shot up to the sky from one of the icebergs, bringing with it a whistling cold wind as it pounced toward Lu Ming and the group. That's a phoenix. When the crowd saw the white light, they were shocked. The body of the white light was a snow-white bird. It looked exactly the same as the divine beast phoenix. It's a frost jade ice phoenix. Be careful. Bing Ching shouted. Gah! The speed of the frost jade ice phoenix was astonishingly fast. In the blink of an eye, it had reached them. It flapped its wings and many ice crystals, like ice swords, pierced toward Lu Ming and the rest. Its power was terrifying. Everyone took action and used their divine power to block the attack. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand and he swept it towards the ice crystals. Clang! The ice crystals were shattered by Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's face changed. He realized that the power of the ice crystals was shockingly strong. As expected, some of the weaker ones were pushed back by the ice crystals and vomited blood. Gah! The frost jade ice phoenix let out a cry as it flapped its wings continuously. Countless ice crystals, along with a cold wind, swept towards them. Bastard, I'll kill you. A voice sounded. It was the leader of the Mystic Academy. This person was Liu Shangkai. At this moment, his body was emitting black divine power and he threw a few punches. Liu Shangkai, as the captain of the Hybrid Demon Academy, controlled holy divine power and had terrifying battle prowess. With a few punches, a few streams of fist force crushed out, shattering a large number of ice crystals. Whoosh! Liu Shangkai transformed into a beam of black light and charged towards the frigid jade ice phoenix. Sacred Demon Seal. Liu Shangkai's cold voice sounded out. Several black marks on his face flickered with a resplendent black light. Then, they actually formed a large black seal that pressed down on the chilling jade ice phoenix. Gah! The frost jade ice phoenix let out an angry cry. It opened its mouth and spat out a white beam of light, which collided with Liu Shangkai's big seal. Boom! The two of them collided, and the frigid jade ice phoenix's beam of light was shattered. However, the power of Liu Shangkai's seal was greatly weakened, and it continued to press down. The frigid jade ice phoenix spread its wings, and they flapped like blades of ice. Boom! The giant seal that Liu Shangkai had formed exploded. His figure was knocked backward, and the marks on his face seemed to have cracked open, causing blood to flow out. Liu Shangkai was no match for the frost jade ice phoenix. Many people were shocked. Liu Shangkai's strength was shocking, but he was still no match for the frost jade ice phoenix. If the others went up, they would die. After forcing Liu Shangkai back, the frost jade ice phoenix flapped its wings and turned into a white beam of light. Scram! At this moment, Bing Ching made his move. His entire body seemed to have turned into a beam of sword light and emitted a cold aura. The frost jade ice phoenix's wings slashed out like blades and collided with Bing Ching's sword light. Dong! A cold aura spread out and both the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix and Bing Qing were pushed back. However, the two of them charged forward again and fought fiercely for more than 10 moves. It was difficult to determine the winner. He blocked it. The others were overjoyed. At the same time, they were shocked by Bing Qing's strength. Bing Qing's combat strength was above Liu Shankai's. Gar gar gar, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix couldn't defeat the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. It let out an angry cry and its attacks became more and more violent. However, Bing Qing's combat strength was too strong. He completely blocked the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix and even gained the upper hand. However, at this moment, everyone's expression changed. That was because there were sharp screeches in the surroundings. Then, figures rushed out from some of the icebergs. Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes, all of them were Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. At a glance, there were 8 of them. Including the one from before, there were 9 of them. The 8 that appeared later were huge and their wingspans were more than 200 meters long. Their auras were terrifying and they weren't any weaker than the one from before. Everyone's faces turned extremely ugly. How could they fight with so many Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes? The cries of the 8 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes resounded through the sky. They flapped their wings and countless ice crystals flew towards Lu Ming and the others. Block it! Someone shouted. Everyone unleashed their full strength to block the ice crystals. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Ming waved his long spear continuously. In an instant, dozens of ice crystals were shot out. Lu Ming's figure also floated back. The power of these ice crystals was extremely shocking. Ah! Ah! There were a few screams. Not everyone could block the ice crystals. A few youths were pierced by the ice crystals and were frozen. Then, with a bang, they exploded into pieces. The Kongxian school didn't suffer any losses. Lu Ming had blocked dozens of ice crystals alone and shared a lot of the pressure. However, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes were approaching. Let's go, let's go. At this moment, Bing Qing pushed back the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix and rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. Everyone gathered and rushed towards a direction where there were no Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. Kakaka, a total of 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes chased after Lu Ming and the others. In the blink of an eye, the two parties had flown tens of thousands of miles. However, the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes were still chasing after them. Everyone's face turned gloomy. They didn't expect to be so unlucky to encounter 9 terrifying Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. No, if we continue like this, we'll be caught by the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes sooner or later. We'll be surrounded by them and die. Someone said. Then what should we do? Someone asked. Let's split up. Bing Qing said and made a decision. Split up. Everyone's expression changed. Chapter 27:35. That's right. Let's split up. Bing Qing repeated. There are only 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. If we split up into a dozen groups, at least some of us won't be chased by the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. Also, if the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes split up, it'll be easier for us to escape. At least we won't be surrounded. Then what if the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes don't split up and chase after one group? Someone asked. Then that group will be unlucky, Bing Qing said. Some people's faces paled, becoming a bit ugly. If they split up and fled, the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes would chase after them. Only death would await them. I agree. Let's split up. Liu Shankai was the first to speak. I agree too. Lu Ming also spoke. 2 sect captains had agreed, and Bing Qing's side had obviously agreed as well. The other sects had no choice but to agree. All right, how should we split up? We'll decide ourselves. If we split up, we'll meet at the center of the map, Bing Qing said. She then ordered the 50 or so Frost Jade race prodigies to split into 12 groups and flew in different directions. Lu Ming and the others also split up. Each of the sects split into a group and flew off in a random direction. The 10 people from the Kongxian school gathered together. This way, the 12 groups of the Frost Jade race and the 6 major sects made a total of 18 groups. There were only 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes, so they couldn't chase all 18 groups at the same time. The 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes let out a few screeches and split up in 9 different directions, chasing after 9 groups. Ha ha ha, they're not chasing us. Great. We're lucky. Run. 9 of the groups were overjoyed when they weren't chased by the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. They sped up and fled. Damn it, they're chasing us. How unlucky. The groups that were being chased all had ugly expressions. Fortunately, there was only one Frost Jade Ice Phoenix chasing them, so they still had a chance to escape. Lu Ming's group was also being chased by a Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. How unlucky. That long-faced youth cursed angrily, using all of his divine power to fly with all of his strength. They were well aware of the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strength. It was too strong. Even the team leader of the Mystic Academy, Liu Shankai, was no match for it. Most likely, they were no match for it either. They could only try their best to shake it off or hope that it wouldn't pursue them relentlessly. The chase continued for a full 2 hours. They had no idea how far they had run, but the chilling Jade Ice Phoenix was still hot on their heels. Furthermore, due to the long flight, they had used up a lot of their divine power. On the other hand, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix seemed to have an inexhaustible amount of energy. The distance between them was slowly shrinking. At this rate, it was only a matter of time before he was caught. What should we do? If there's really no other way, I'll fight it to the death. A few Kongshen school disciples roared. It was impossible to expect others to come to their rescue. At this moment, they had already been separated from the other sects. You guys go first, I'll stop him. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly spoke. What? Everyone else was stunned. Lu Ming wanted to stay behind and stop this Frost Jade Ice Phoenix alone. Although Lu Ming was strong, he was definitely not a match for this Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Previously, Liu Shankai's strength was shocking enough, but even he was at a disadvantage. Lu Ming was most likely not a match for this Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Whoosh! Lu Ming's flying figure suddenly came to a halt. Seeing this, the others from the Kongshen school could only grit their teeth and continue flying forward. Gah! The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out a cry. Its sharp and cold eyes stared at Lu Ming as it quickly approached. Come! Lu Ming muttered. His body emitted a strong battle intent. The battle character art suddenly erupted with 3 times the battle strength. Lu Ming naturally didn't stop because he was willing to sacrifice himself for others. The reason why he stopped was because Anhai was a good person. Lu Ming didn't want Anhai to die in the hands of the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. In addition, Lu Ming was confident that he could escape, which was why he stayed behind. If Lu Ming wasn't confident that he could escape, he wouldn't stay behind. Let me see how strong you are. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He circulated the 9-layer crimson gold armor, and a crimson gold armor appeared. World-extinguishing 3 strikes, sky-shattering. Lu Ming used his strongest move. Man and spear unity, turning into a resplendent spear light that pierced towards the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Gah! The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out a cry. Its body was covered with a thick layer of ice armor. With its terrifying speed, it was like a sharp sword piercing through the void. A sword light and a spear light collided with each other at an extremely high speed. Boom! A terrifying explosion rang out. The force of the collision formed rings of shockwaves that spread out in all directions. Lu Ming felt a terrifying force rushing towards him. Lu Ming's body violently trembled. He was pushed back by this force, and only stopped after flying a few hundred li. What a powerful force. Lu Ming felt the blood in his body churning, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Lu Ming was completely at a disadvantage in the previous collision. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strength was above Lu Ming's expectations. If Lu Ming hadn't activated the 9-layer crimson gold armor, his injuries would have been even more severe. Moreover, Lu Ming could control the extreme cold divine power. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's extreme cold energy was ineffective against him. If it were someone else, their injuries would have been even more severe. Gah! The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out a cry and continued to attack Lu Ming. Again, Lu Ming charged towards the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix once again, pushing his divine power to the limit. Although the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix was strong, it couldn't instantly kill him. It could only slightly injure him. This way, he could use it to temper his divine skill. 9 Heavens Garuda Art. In the process of charging out, Lu Ming executed the 9 Heavens Garuda Art. His entire body seemed to have turned into a Garuda, soaring 90,000 li into the sky. Bam! Lu Ming and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix clashed once again. This time, Lu Ming was pushed back again. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. His injuries were more severe, but it wasn't a big deal. Lu Ming took out a healing divine pill that he had bought beforehand and swallowed it. Once again, he unleashed all his divine power and executed 3 divine skills at the same time, attacking the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Using 3 divine skills at the same time consumed a shocking amount of divine power. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, the divine power in his body was almost depleted after a few attacks. However, Lu Ming had the quantifying character art. The quantifying character art stored a large amount of divine power. At this moment, divine power was surging out endlessly. Lu Ming's divine power was replenished again. Boom! 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 Lu Ming clashed with the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix more than a dozen times. Each time, Lu Ming was pushed back. However, Lu Ming's eyes were filled with intense battle intent. Awesome, awesome. Although Lu Ming was injured at this moment, he felt exhilarated. Due to such an intense fight, he was making rapid progress in several types of divine techniques. Chapter 2736. The ninefold crimson gold armor and apocalyptic 3 strikes were approaching the 4th layer, while the 9 Heavens Garuda art was approaching the limit of the 2nd layer. Lu Ming felt that he could break through at any moment. After that, Lu Ming and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix clashed a few more times. It's about time, Lu Ming thought to himself. After such a long time, Hai and the others had already escaped. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix couldn't catch up to them even if it wanted to. Moreover, after several collisions, although Lu Ming was only slightly injured each time, after so many collisions, Lu Ming's injuries were already quite serious. It was still within his control, but if this continued, his injuries would be serious and his foundation would be damaged. The gains wouldn't make up for the losses. I'm not playing with you anymore. Lu Ming randomly chose a direction and executed the 9 Heavens Garuda art. Like a Garuda, he charged in that direction. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix cried out and chased after Lu Ming. Its eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Clearly, it was enraged that it couldn't kill Lu Ming after clashing with Lu Ming repeatedly. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 streaks of light flashed across the sky, leaving behind 2 bright streaks of light as they disappeared into the distance. You're still lacking if you want to catch up to me. Lu Ming smiled and pushed the 9 Heavens Garuda art to the limit. A Garuda really appeared on his body. It looked illusory, but it also increased Lu Ming's speed greatly. I broke through. I broke through to the 3rd layer. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He didn't expect that the 9 Heavens Garuda art would break through to the 3rd layer unintentionally. The 9 Heavens Garuda art wasn't complete. It only had 7 layers, and each layer was more powerful than the last. Once he broke through, his speed would increase greatly. Whoosh! Lu Ming instantly disappeared into the distance, and the distance between him and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix quickly increased. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix was different from other divine beast phoenixes. It wasn't known for its speed. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strongest point was its attack. A casual attack could freeze everything. Lu Ming could only resist the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix for so long by relying on his cold divine energy. Therefore, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix couldn't catch up to Lu Ming after he broke through to the 9 Heavens Garuda art. Lu Ming soon left the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix in the dust. Soon. This battle was worth it. Lu Ming's ability to protect himself. His Garuda usability art. The time, Lu Ming's Garuda. Immediately after, Lu Ming found a secluded place and swallowed another healing elixir, circulating his energy to heal his injuries. Lu Ming's injuries were not serious. After a few hours, he had fully recovered. Moreover, the divine power in his body was boiling and he was at his peak. This was, of course, Garuda used. Garuda Uda ice divine ice was used time. There's a cold moonstone in this region. Since I'm here, I'll look for it. I can't miss it. Lu Ming pondered. He left the area and headed for the central region according to the map. He cultivated as he traveled. He didn't encounter any more danger. Half a day later, Lu Ming arrived at a snowy mountain range. This mountain range was huge. It stretched between heaven and earth. If he wanted to pass through, he had to cross this mountain range. Roar, roar. From afar, he could hear a terrifying roar coming from the mountain range. Clearly, there were terrifying desolate beasts living in the mountain range. Lu Ming withdrew his aura and landed on the ground. He revealed his identity and rushed in. Roar. Not long after he entered the mountain range, a huge creature pounced at Lu Ming. It was a huge lizard. It was dozens of meters tall. Its body was snow-white and emitted an icy aura. Its body was covered in a layer of ice armor. It looked like its defense was amazing. Lu Ming stabbed with his spear. Clang. The sound of metal clashing could be heard. The long spear pierced the lizard's ice armor, causing ice to shatter. It made a piercing sound. Break. Lu Ming shouted. His divine power burst forth. The long spear exploded with a terrifying penetrating power. It pierced through the ice armor and killed the lizard. This desolate beast is very strong. Lu Ming thought. The ice-armored lizard's cultivation was only equivalent to a level 1 true god. However, it was stronger than many level 2 true gods. It was harder to kill. In the ancestral land of the Ice Soul race, cold air was everywhere. The desolate beasts that lived here were generally stronger. After killing the lizard, Lu Ming continued to go deeper into the mountain range. Next, different desolate beasts attacked Lu Ming continuously. Fortunately, they weren't particularly strong. There weren't any existences as strong as the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Soon, Lu Ming had passed through more than half of the mountain range. Sigh. A few giant ice-armored pythons appeared and charged toward Lu Ming. These giant ice-armored pythons were shockingly powerful. Each of them was not weaker than an ordinary 5th-level true god. Coupled with their shocking defense, they were very difficult to kill. Lu Ming spent a lot of effort to kill them. The skin and bones of these ice-armored pythons are good refining materials. They can be used to refine middle-grade divine armors and whips. Lu Ming pondered. Then, he started to peel off the skin and bones of the ice-armored pythons. The soft armors and whips refined from these materials were most suitable for experts who cultivated ice attribute divine power. They could be sold for a good price. There's danger. Lu Ming, who was skinning the pythons, suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. He moved 100 meters to the side. Peng! Peng! A few rays of black light bombarded the place where Lu Ming had been standing. One of the rays even slashed the giant ice armor python, splitting it into two. Such power! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He knew the defense of the ice-armored python. Even if he used all his strength, he wouldn't be able to break it so easily. Shua! Shua! In a flash, a dozen figures appeared not far away. Liu Shankai from the Mystic Academy. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. These people were from the Mystic Academy. Originally, there were 18 people from the Hybrid Demon Academy. But now, it seemed that there were only 16. It seemed that 2 of them had already died. The one leading them was Liu Shankai. Lu Ming, you're the only one left from the Kongxian school? Liu Shankai glanced around. So what if I'm the only one left? Lu Ming said lightly. It's nothing. I can only say that you're unlucky to meet us here. Bing Qing stopped us on the Ice Soul planet. Now, no one can help you. Liu Shankai said coldly. He didn't bother to hide his strong murderous intent. If you want to kill me, you will have to pay a heavy price. Lu Ming held the spear in his hand. A strong battle intent radiated from him. I'll be the main attacker. You guys support me from the back. Kill him as soon as possible. Liu Shankai sent a message to the other members of the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming's strength was too strong. Other than him, no one else was reliable. They could easily be killed by Lu Ming. He had to go first while the others attacked from the back to ensure that nothing would go wrong. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.